Yes, sir. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like a standard open, please.
Oh, you're a standard open. Would you like fries with that?
No.
Or apple slices.
Who fucking wants apple slices?
My kids want apple slices.
They do?
sometimes.
Oh, good. That's fine.
Well, because they get fries and apple slices.
Well, let's get that standard open, and then we can talk about all the apples.
Standard open and all the apples. A standard open. All right. Well, here you go, sir. From ClarkWoods.com. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 113. I am Chris.
And I am Steve.
And here are your
I
apples.
through you for a loop because I didn't say I'm also Steve.
Here are your apples.
I don't. I like.
Is the toy for a girl or a boy?
Yes. Give me one of each. I want all the toys.
All the toys. We were at a McDonald's yesterday, the fanciest McDonald's in the world. It was once dubbed by my pal John Martin. Up in it's the one near Fun Spot.
The one like up the
just up the road,
mountain,
yeah,
up
on Mount McDonald's,
yeah,
high above Lake Winnipesaukee.
Hart's Turkey Farm and the Harley dealership next door.
High above them on Mount McDonald's is the fanciest McDonald's on the planet, and we were there yesterday, and they had.
Did you guys go to Fun Spot?
We did not go to Fun Spot. We were up in that area for a decidedly more exciting thing, a book release event.
And your kids were there?
And my kids were there. Yes, but we'll save that for a minute. I mean that may or may not be important enough to be on the show. That I was in a book.
Why don't you just
bury the lead? We'll bury it right back there with.
Give yourself a little self-pleasure. Say you wrote a book.
I didn't write a whole. I didn't write a whole. Well, I have written a whole book, but nobody wants to publish it. No, I wrote a story that's in a book that is all westerns with ties to the state of New Hampshire, and it finally came out, and we were up in Center Sandwich.
I could go for a center sandwich right now.
They don't sell those at McDonald's.
No.
Maybe it's on the secret menu. Although I don't think they have a secret menu.
Like the McHot Dog and the McSpaghetti?
No, McHot Dog, that's Burger King. Burger King has...
yeah, they have weenies now.
They don't. Yes, they do. Or what do they call them? Do they call them Franks? No.
I think they're just BK Dogs or something.
BK Dogs.
BK
like
Hot Dogs.
BK Dogs. Classic dog and a chili dog. I think you can get a chili dog.
God. They make chili at Burger King?
They make something that looks close enough to chili to put it on a chili dog.
So, yeah.
I mean, they make chili at Wendy's.
I know.
I think you just need a one place where you got to... I mean, this is why they put them all close together. You go get your chili at Wendy's. You go get your hot dog at Burger King.
I wouldn't get chili at Wendy's.
No. My wife gets chili all the time.
I worked at Wendy's. Oh. And basically, it's all the really old, overcooked meat they just put into the chili.
Oh.
So, like, if we got burgers on the grill,
yeah,
and they ain't selling,
yeah,
that's chili. Eventually,
chili.
Eventually,
that's chili.
I mean, it's not like it's undercooked. I mean,
no,
but it's not necessarily new meat. It's not fresh meat.
And you know, people like their fresh meat. I'm just gonna say that's the.
Is that something sexual you're saying?
Possibly. So we were in the world's fanciest McDonald's, and they had
True story.
They had DC Comics toys. So they had like but like the really kiddified DC Comics toys. So like they had Supergirl and Wonder Woman, but they also had. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who what the hell is her name? Harley Quinn is.
I know who Harley Quinn is. I watched Batman the animated series when I was a boy.
Well, okay, now back then she was probably safe enough to put on an animated series that kids watch. But my recollection,
although the Batman animated series was a significantly darker than than most of the cartoons that were on in that.
Right, but it was still relatively safe for...
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't like crazy amounts of gun violence or like, but there was violence, there was death. Like there.
Well, let's put it this way. So back then, Harley Quinn's costume was like a court jester's uniform.
But it was very tight fit.
It was very tight fit,
yeah.
but there wasn't cleavage. I mean, it was. I mean, you could tell she had boobs.
Yes.
But it wasn't like she was showing off the crack of her ass or the cleavage in the way...
The McDonald's toy had the crack of her ass?
No, I'm not saying that one did, but
I can't believe this. Boycott McDonald's, people. You know what? Like, your daughter's getting a Harley Quinn toy that it's just nothing but tits and ass crack.
Well, I'm not saying that's what this.
And I'm not actually saying you should boycott. In fact, I think you should go to McDonald's more and get all the tits and ass crack you can. Not necessarily of the toys, just try to get fucked at McDonald's.
It must be at the fanciest McDonald's on the planet. It might be fun,
Yeah.
But at like your local garden variety McDonald's, like the one in Drumhill in Chelmsdale. I mean, I've been in that one because it's the one closest to my house. And I kind of don't even want my kids to sit down in it. Aside from the fact that they play
everything
Fox
covered
News
in goo
on their TVs.
Yeah, why do they play Fox News?
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, so
well, if you think about it, like McDonald's is a corporation, and corporations tend to, as the people they are, because they exist as human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tend to be more conservative, right?
I think it depends. I think my recollection of that McDonald's from my childhood was that the guy who managed it or owned it was kind of a jackass. Who was constantly
Is it still the same guy?
But in my mind, in my narrative about that McDonald's, it's just the same guy. It's been remodeled, and that guy is definitely a Fox News devotee, as they say. But at the world's fanciest McDonald's, where they have DC Comics characters, I am not saying that Harley Quinn had her ass crack out. But what I am saying is that the most popular in the consciousness version of Harley Quinn that's out there right now is the one played by Margot Robbie or Robbie, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, in Suicide Squad. Like, she's been all over the place this summer. And the notion that one of the toys, one of the toys that's out there that when you say girl, to the McDonald's server who asks you is the toy for a boy or a girl, that one of the things that they might get is Harley Quinn. I have to remember that Harley Quinn is not just the TNA version that they put out there for Suicide Squad. And it's my understanding, before anybody sends us email, maybe I shouldn't say this because we want email, but it's my understanding.
Please send us email regardless of what he's about to say. That
Margot Robbie is actually fantastic in the film, despite the
fact that the film is terrible,
the dumb getup they have her in. So they had Batgirl, Supergirl, Wonder Woman. They had her, but the weirdest one, and
the lady or gentleman or whatever.
The weirdest was
the Flash.
No, it was
just a guy in a trench coat.
That was the original version.
they didn't get by the comics code.
That didn't go. Yeah, no. That was in the 50s. They had that one. Yeah. There was no. That would have been the 40s, and then in the 50s it was the comics code, and they had to tighten that shit up.
Right.
Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, people. It's a good novel about all that.
All right. Well, we'll all read it.
Yes, I'm sure you all will. If they make it a mini-series, you'll watch it.
I will. I suck at reading books. I will listen to books. I'll listen to podcasts. I can't read anymore. Okay. I can physically read, but it's just like, I mean, I'm sure Ryan occasionally listens, and the next time we get together, I'll give you back your copy of Confederacy of Dunces, which has remained...
Hot dogs, ladies?
It has remained relatively unread. I did read at least a chapter.
Enchantress, to cut to the chase, is one of the characters. Another one who appears in, as I understand it, in the film. From what little I've seen of Suicide Squad, she appears in kind of a bikini and kind of mysterious, like, it looks like she's got a little pig pen dirt cloud around her. But they've got a version of her that is obviously inspired by the movie that's out right now, or was out before it bombed. And she's one of the toys. Now, again, she doesn't have the TNA, but just the design of her looks like it was a childified version of that. And I don't know how to feel about it, because whatever, I'm cool with Supergirl, I'm cool with Wonder Woman, cool with Batgirl. Although they could have done Batwoman, that would have been fine too. Different character.
How about Bat Lady?
I don't know. It was a little weird. It was also a little weird to me that the characters that my daughters are getting exposed to in terms of comic book characters are the shitty DC Comics characters instead of all of the awesome Marvel Comics characters, because, you know.
Yeah, like Psylocke and X-Men Apocalypse and
those characters don't count. It's only a matter of time before Marvel just completely divests themselves of the X-Men, because Fox is not going to give them the movie rights back, and all Disney cares about is things they can make movies out of. So fuck the fucking X-Men. Somebody else can go and publish those fucking comic books. That's what I think, but I'm no expert.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you. What toys did you end up getting?
I think one of them ended up with a headband of some sort, and the other one ended up with a Supergirl, like a Supergirl toy, fully posable.
Ooh.
Hey now. That was at the end of our day because Melody was not going to have any of it after she had to sit through. I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour of people reading short stories from a book of westerns, which were really good, including one of them which was not a western. I guess the whole book is not necessarily westerns. It's all inspired by the Concord coach, which is a type of coach that went out west. And so one of the stories was actually a version of Cinderella, a modern day, where a pumpkin was going to turn into a Concord coach. But by the point that story was being told, my daughters, who had been pretty good and were pretty good throughout the whole thing, were bored. And they missed a story that they absolutely would have loved if they had understood.
So they left? What did they just
No. Kaylee stayed there the whole time. Melody was getting fidgety and starting to make noise. So once I was done reading, a couple people later, I took her and we went for a walk. And then we came back.
Catch some Pokemon?
We did not catch any Pokemon because at that point, there was no cell service in Center Sandwich, New Hampshire, and I haven't had any Pokeballs for a good week now. I ran out of them on a hiking trip last weekend.
All you have to do is just, while you're at work, go walk around the block for like a minute or two, and then you should be able to recharge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if I just walked around the center of town, center of Chelmsford, there are at least a half dozen to a dozen Pokestops, all within like a 20-minute walk.
Man, I can go for a 20-minute walk right now.
I can go for a 20-minute something. 20 minutes with a fully posable Supergirl, if you know what I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a happily married man. Supergirl.
Except that you want a sex doll, apparently.
No,
that looks like Supergirl.
I don't know if I see if I had a sex doll. Let's say
Are we bringing this back up again?
Have we ever brought this up? I don't know.
Yeah, remember when I was like, I'm quitting dating, I'm quitting the internet, I'm quitting everything.
That was so long ago.
That was like episode 3 or 4 or something like that.
That episode isn't even in the feed anymore, as we've talked about, because, Yes,
but you can go to clarkwoods.com
/hot/3 or whatever
number it was, and you can actually still listen to it,
right?
Or if you never deleted it from your from your phone or your iTunes feed or whatever, that means you still have it, and it'll stay with you forever until you decide fuck those guys and fuck episode 3.
Fuck their sex dolls.
The Phantom Menace. Oh wait, no, that was Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clans.
I saw an ad today. I think it was TNT, and they were making a big deal about it, and they were like, stay tuned today. For the first time ever, TNT will be playing all 6 amazing episodes of Star Wars. I mean, first it discounts the fact that there's now 7, right? And it's also trying to make it sound like the first 3 are going to be as amazing to watch as the latter 3.
No, but the
first 3 sequentially.
But if it would be great if you could actually watch like them, like the episode 4, 5, and 6 in their original non-special edition version.
Non-specialized, despecialized
versions.
They're out there on the internet.
I have the VHS, I think, of the last version. I think it's at my dad's house somewhere.
Yeah.
Of the original trilogy,
right?
The last version. And the thing, it's weird because like there's never been a DVD release of Star Wars that has been the original versions.
I thought there was a release where they were available as bonus features on some collected edition on DVD.
Really?
I thought that was out there. Now, what you really want to look for is if you're familiar with...
I think the Laserdisc version might be the best version of it, but I don't know if that's full screen.
I don't know. Or widescreen.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm saying I think it might be full screen.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Which, for those of you who are uninformed about how you should watch movies, always watch a movie widescreen.
Always.
Because if you watch something full screen, the camera, quote unquote, will pan left and right to whoever is speaking. I remember being especially annoyed by this watching the full screen version of the original Ghostbusters. And
does it pan to the ghost when he's getting the beach?
I don't remember. But there was certain scenes like that it was so incredibly apparent that they were just like going back, like in the elevator when they're just like, oh, we're all wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on our back. And then so they switch Ray on and then they kind of like move over to the other side of the elevator and like the camera moves with them as they're, and I'm like, why even bother? Like that's a very tight shot to begin with. Why would you even,
I don't know.
Fucking garbage.
But I mean, that's the way that you and I, like if we watched movies on TV, that's all we saw when we were growing up.
Didn't. Well,
and I'm not saying that's a good thing, but what's funny is I didn't even notice that until later when I finally got to start seeing widescreen home video stuff, and I would go back and I'd look at something and I'd say, "Oh, God,
there's so many things that are missing from the frame." I mean, like in some circumstances, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
In others, it does matter. You're like totally missing out on something that's happening in the director's vision of what the fuck should happen in that moment.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Janet.
I still have never seen that.
Never seen Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
But you know enough of it that you know.
Yeah, I know
Damn
like
It,
all
Janet
the
is
things about it, but I still have just never seen it.
Just a step to the left.
No, and we're not doing the time warp either.
I was reading about time travel today.
Oh, you were?
I was reading about time travel. I'm preparing a lesson for tomorrow.
About time travel? Or time travel fiction?
Time travel fiction. Yeah, sorry, no, we're not talking about building a time machine in class, although that would be neat. One of the articles I was reading was so every week the students read a short story and they read a corresponding article that has to do with that short story. And it's been hit or miss so far. But this week was really good. It was a theoretical physicist, I think, writing about time travel, but was sprinkling it with movie references, like a really reverent take on what is happening in Superman. And then he's very respectful of it. And then he's like, this is why it doesn't work. And then here's what's happening in Back to the Future and so on and so forth. And he brings up the story that we read, which is called All You Zombies, which was turned into a movie called Predestination. Have you ever seen Predestination?
I have not seen Predestination.
Please explain.
Your overt racism currently.
I have heard people talk about it. Now I've read the story. Now I want to see the film. I don't know if I necessarily want to spoil it for you, but it deals with the grandfather paradox. Are you familiar with the grandfather paradox?
That if you fuck your grandma, then you become your own grandpa?
Something like that. This is I can't even imagine how... Everyone I've heard talk about this movie says it's amazing. The story is a mind trip. It involves time travel and involves the grandfather paradox. And we should watch it and then talk about it on the show, I think. We should assign it as homework for everybody who's listening.
Well, if you've ever seen the animated series Futurama,
I have not.
Philip J. Fry, the main character of the series, is technically his own grandfather. And which is why, like, at certain points in the series, he is necessary to be in the year 3000. So basically, he is from like the year, like the show premiered in 1999, 2000, something like that, and it starts off with the New Year's celebration from 1999 into 2000.
Okay.
So he's a pizza delivery guy, and he shows up at the intended address, which was a cryogenics lab, and he looks at the. It's funny because like you see this scene so many times over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Like with him showing up with the pizza and then looking at the person it's supposed to be for, and it says, "I see wiener." Oh man! So he just cracks a beer and then starts sipping on it, and then gets pushed backwards into a cryogenic tube and gets frozen for 1,000 years, and etc. etc.
That old chestnut.
But then they ended up going back to the 1940s or something like that. And he fucks his grandmother. And then his grandfather gets killed, so he is in fact his own grandson.
Does his mother look like Lea Thompson? His grandmother look like Lea Thompson? That'd be a good little...
Lea Thompson, circa 1985.
I don't know. I'm not a big
like Howard the Duck, Lea Thompson.
I like Howard the Duck, Lea Thompson. I thought you were talking about Lea Thompson, circa 1980, like alternate 1985.
No,
with Biff, where she's got the big enhancements, and I could care less about that.
You wanted me to get these things, and if you want them back, you can have them.
If they bring Howard the Duck back in to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Guardians of the Galaxy,
he's already been alluded to.
Well, yeah, he shows up. Yeah, but if they bring him back again, they've got to bring Lea Thompson back. I'm just saying, they got to bring her back. I think they have.
They also need to bring back Duck Tits. That was one of those weird things. It was like watching that movie. At the beginning of the movie, he's like getting launched through the fucking air on his recliner, and then all of a sudden he's like smashing through the wall of this woman duck.
Yeah,
that's just taking a bath, and her duck tits are out. This was like a PG movie, and I'm like, whoa, duck tits.
Maybe it was one of the reasons we got PG-13 like a year later.
Oh, that was
something like that. I don't know. I'm saying
that was pre PG-13.
I don't know. That might be one of the reasons. I think it was Temple of Doom is the one that really gets us to PG-13, if I remember correctly.
I was watching the NeverEnding Story yesterday.
NeverEnding Story.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You're welcome.
Now I have a question for you.
Bastion.
Yes, Bastion. What does Bastion scream out at the end of the movie?
No idea. Never figured it out. I think I looked it up recently.
I did as well after the movie, because I could not even, like, we had the volume was up. It's not. We didn't have the subtitles on or anything like that.
But that doesn't always work. I mean, like Lost in Translation, I don't think it works on that either.
Yeah, I don't think that's meant to be known.
Right.
But like, this is something that should, like, he does say things, and there's just like thunder and wind and too much background noise.
Yeah.
But apparently, according to the novel, the NeverEnding Story, it was supposed to be like Moonchild or Moon Queen or something like that.
Yeah.
But why was his mother's name Moon Queen or something like that?
Because his mother was a hippie?
I guess so.
Or the daughter of a hippie? I don't know.
Like at the beginning, like that movie is really depressing.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't like.
It's depressing from the get-go. I don't know how any of us.
It starts off like the first scene of the movie is like Bastion and his dad in the kitchen, and Bastion's making his own lunch. He's like, what is he? 10 years old.
He's a little kid.
He's 10 years old. He's making his own lunch because his dad is apparently too busy with his high-powered career as a balding guy with a mustache. But then his dad, like, this is something
I would give up my hair and get rid of my beard for that career. I'm just,
so
I could do all right.
So his dad's like, stop being so depressed about your mother being dead, and just go and do better. Like, and that's basically the pep talk he gives to his son. And then he proceeds to pour some orange juice into the blender and then crack an egg in there.
Yeah.
And then this is something is this how you make an actual Julius?
I don't know. That sounds vaguely like a thing,
like a protein, like orange protein drink,
like a protein drink. I made some bad protein drinks in my time when I was trying to lose weight back in the day.
Is that healthy? Like to have a raw egg like that?
Probably not.
I mean, it's getting beat to shit with orange
juice.
Gaston,
eats like 6 dozen eggs, so he's roughly the size of a barge.
No one. We're not doing it. No, I said no. But then, like, there's so many things that are going on in that movie where it's just like when they're in the swamps of sadness and his horse just basically...
That sounds like a Paul Simon album.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. We're in the swamps of sadness again. Where I'm just pulling my horse Artex through the swamp, and then it just decides to give up and die. 'Cause that's how the song goes, right?
No attempt to fucking rhyme.
No, but the horse just is like, because like apparently like in the swamps of sadness, if you basically let sadness overwhelm you.
Yes, I've been living in the swamps of sadness all my life.
If you let the swamps of sadness, or let sadness overwhelm you, you will sink to the bottom and die. So basically, it's like you're like resigning yourself.
This kid hasn't seen fucking Inside Out. Sadness is the hero. I'm just telling you.
Yes, but apparently it like the swamps of sadness, and then he goes up in the turtle.
Is that what it is? That's what they call under her armpits, the swamps of sadness?
What? Who?
This sadness.
No, I'm talking.
That's one of those things that fucking Joy would say to her. He's like, get yourself out of the swamps of sadness, and sadness would lift up her
Artex out of the no, but the goddamn horse dies in the swamp, and then like he climbs a tree, and a turtle sneezes on him, and then the rock biters like, these used to be such strong hands, and my little friend with the racing snail and the Batman guy, they flew away to the nothing, and then everybody dies. And then the young little girl is like, Bastion, you need to give me a name. I'm like skipping half the goddamn movie.
Say my name. Say my name. Say my name.
I mean, I like the movie.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
I wish I had. No, but it's fucking depressing as fuck. And I don't. This is probably why, like watching movies like that probably, like, got me into some sort of mentality of like depression from a very young age. I watched that movie from when I was a little kid, and I didn't realize how fucking depressing it was because of all the crazy shit. Oh, this is why I brought that up.
Okay.
There was boobies in that. The Sphinx when he has to walk through.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, there's stone boobies.
Stone boobies. Stone cold boobies.
It's funny because like he goes through the first test, which is the one where like the Sphinx's eyes open and blasts people that aren't confident or whatever.
Right.
He makes it through that one, and then he goes through and there's like a mirror one where he.
That's right.
And most people run away screaming. The little man with one tooth is like, the little elf
Billy
ears.
Crystal, right?
No, it wasn't. That was fucking. That was the Princess Bride.
Never seen that movie. No, I'm just kidding. That was my old joke. For a while, I was the guy for like 30 something years. I was the guy who hadn't seen The Princess Bride.
Well,
then I did.
I'm still the guy that hasn't seen Rocky Horror. So yeah, then he goes through this mirror one where it's just like it shows Bastion in the mirror. He's like, and then Bastion shuts the book and he throws it. He's like, it's impossible.
Yep.
And then he goes and just grabs the book and starts reading. He's like, I can't. I'm so invested in this. Oh, and another thing about this fucking movie.
Yeah.
He goes, like, he misses his math test, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to go into the attic of the school, which is really weird and creepy and has skeletons all over it. And apparently papers everywhere, because every time the little shutters of that window open, there's papers flying off like the ceiling, and like...
They haven't learned a system that works for them, Steve. An organizational system.
I guess not.
No, they just throw shit up there. They're hoarders.
No, but there wasn't a lot of stuff up there.
Just enough to, Yeah.
But it was like weird. Like, I mean, it wasn't real skeletons up there. But it was like, why is there an attic to this fucking school in the first place?
I got no idea. Got nothing.
And why is it that like a child? There was like a little box next to the door where he got the key.
I remember.
And he opened up the door. Like, why should your students?
Where's the hall monitor?
Not hall monitor. Why does a student have access to the fucking attic? There should like a custodian. Like,
because it's convenient.
And like the bullies in the fucking movie, they're like they throw him in the dumpster, and then he gets out of the dumpster.
Yep.
And they find him again, and they're like, you better get back in that dumpster. I'm like, why are these bullies so fucking like passionate
about him being in the
about
dumpster?
him being in the dumpster?
Gotta keep him in his place. Put him in his place.
I don't know. Like, I had, I got picked on a bunch when I was younger.
Not you.
Come on. And of the things that happened to me, they never were that, like, they wouldn't, like, have thrown me in the dumpster. Yeah. I mean, I remember getting, like some prank phone calls saying that they were going to kill me at school the next day. That wasn't alarming at all.
I wonder, when stuff like that shows up in movies, those of us who got bullied, like, that part never rang true. Right.
Because, like, the way, well, I don't know.
So
like,
who writes that stuff? Like, is that how people bullied each other in a previous generation? Was there a lot of putting people into dumpsters? But before we...
well, previous generations of children would have walked to school, prior to stranger danger in the 80s and whatnot. Right. I imagine, like, 70s and prior... like kids were walking to school or or doing whatever, so like there was much more opportunity for like the bad kids in the neighborhood to wreak havoc when people weren't taking the bus or weren't getting their parents to drive them to school every day and whatnot.
More of an opportunity.
But now the way bullying happens is on fucking social media. So.
Yeah, and then people kill themselves
instead. Yes, but people killed themselves in the past as well. Because they watched the NeverEnding Story.
They were in the swamps.
They were in the swamps of sadness, and they were just like, "I give up. This fucking sucks. I'm Artex. Let me just drown.
I'm the fucking horse.
Drown in sadness."
There was, I don't know. I think Joy might like to drown in sadness. I think that was the subtext of that movie.
I only saw the goddamn movie once. I don't have children. I haven't seen it multiple times. I have seen the NeverEnding Story multiple times.
It is a wonderful film, and I should not be trying to make dirty jokes about it.
Right. But I'm sure there's some sort of pornography online from those characters.
God. Yeah.
And it's probably Lewis Black's character, like, doing some bad things to the other ones in the brain.
Yeah, I think anger and fear might have something going on the side, and I think who does Disgust hook up with? Maybe Disgust is just kind of by herself. She can't handle any of the rest
by
of
herself. Them. You mean like by herself?
By herself, yeah. I think she's double clicking on her Ms. House, at least twice a day.
So
there was something like 4-5 threads earlier that I was like, I need to ask Steve this, and then we just went horribly off topic.
Oh, we did we?
We did, and now I can't remember what the hell it was. And when I listen back to this tonight to get it ready, I'm gonna go that was the fucking...
Write it down, and then you can ask me about it next week.
It's not even relevant now. Why will it be relevant next week? It was something... I don't know what...
Who the fuck cares what we talk about?
Yeah, I know.
Unless, like, the audience is sick of us talking about NeverEnding Story. I think it was, like, a German novel. Maybe that's why, like, everything seems...
Those fucking Germans.
Vaguely foreign. Just like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like...
Yeah.
They... like
that's an English novel.
Yeah, I know, but, like...
Roald Dahl.
Everything just seemed kind of weird where they were. And, like...
It's some avant-garde German theater bullshit. Because if it is, I've seen it done better. That's all I'm saying.
What is that from? Oh. Patton Oswalt, eh?
Emmy award winning.
Emmy. You can win an Emmy for things on Netflix now?
Apparently, yes.
We should make a
Netflix
series called Horribly Off Topic, the series where...
Yeah, it's about two guys podcasting.
Well, Mark Maron made a fucking series about his life, which is basically him doing his podcast. So we could do it and try to do it better.
We could pitch it to Netflix. Say, here we go.
Well, you got Maron, but Maron's only one guy. We're two guys.
We're two
guys that are funny and shit.
Wild and crazy guys.
Great at improv too.
Pat made a Patton Oswalt reference, and it just stopped me dead in my tracks.
That's cool.
He won the Emmy. He won the Emmy. You can win Emmys for Netflix. House of Cards. I've been watching House of Cards.
Did that win an Emmy?
I'm sure it did at some point.
Or at least was nominated.
I don't know if it was this year. I know that's like a big thing. Is it next year? That not with Netflix but with HBO, that Game of Thrones is premiering too late to be eligible for the next year's Emmys or some shit like that. And that's like what are we gonna give all our awards to? Like there's no fucking
something
Game of
else.
Thrones. We'll give them to House of Cards, which is fucking awesome.
All right.
Although also kind of depressing. This
like NeverEnding Story depressing or different kind of
just
depressing?
the back half of season 3. Back half of season 3. That's what I'm on right now, and because it is dealing with the 2016 election within that universe, I am. It's a little too close to home.
I've never
the partisan. Sort of like everybody being mean to each other, and that element of like there's nobody to like is becoming very, very strong in the back half of this season because they're all being assholes to each other.
It's weird how pervasive this election cycle is. Maybe because we're older and we're paying more attention to it,
Maybe.
But it seems to be like seeping into like not even just pop culture, like the like that. I keep on bringing up fucking NeverEnding Story. NeverEnding Story. They had an ad for the song. I think it was from Spotify or whatever, or was it whatever one of those streaming services? And like it's the same actor who played Atreyu, like riding on the Luck Dragon, like, and he's like, "Can you believe people are still listening to this song?" And like that same ad cycle that they had that, and they had another one. It's like I forget who it was, but I was like, "It's my house, come on!" It's like the woman and the guy just listening to a song while they're towing their house into Ontario or something like that, and it's like, you know, songs for when you move to Canada because Donald Trump got elected president. Like,
that was the name of the playlist.
Well, I don't know,
yeah.
But that was basically
the
what they
idea.
were insinuating.
Oh, okay.
And then there was another, like, there's this HBO show that I keep on seeing an ad for when I've been watching. I was watching Vice Principals, which is Danny McBride.
I saw a trailer for that looked interesting. I haven't watched it.
It's one of those cringy shows that like if you watched Eastbound and Down.
I never did.
Okay, so it basically. Eastbound and Down, it was a series that Danny McBride did that was
baseball, right?
It was based on it was basically John Rocker, the series, like him trying to make a comeback.
Oh.
But it wasn't actually John Rocker,
right?
It was just like a character that was like a super amplified version of that asshole. and it was pretty entertaining. But Vice Principals, I think, is better because it's still fucking crazy,
right?
But it's not like Danny McBride's character isn't the one that is like super over the top, and there are parts of like the other characters that each of them go over the top at certain times, but are not constantly over the top.
Right.
But it's still very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you were the kind of person that hates like a Curb Your Enthusiasm or hates things that are cringy,
I don't hate those things, but I don't actively seek them out because I've got other things. I got so many other things I would rather watch.
I remember watching things with our other friend John, and he hates that kind of kind of humor, that cringe humor. And he would watch like one episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm or something like that, and he'd be like, "Nope."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm done. I cannot watch another one." Like, you know, at a certain point, you're like, Larry David, stop saying and doing everything fucking wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important as we get older to like do that because like time is limited, and if you don't like shit, you should just fucking move on.
Yeah.
I mean, so like I have had. The first when they unveiled, I don't know if it was with iOS 10 or shortly before that, Apple Music unveiled a new similar to Spotify, like For You mix that they new music every Friday that's tailored to what they think you'll like. And the first week was like spot on. I got like 5 or 10 new songs that I really liked out of it. The second week was terrible, nothing. And then this week I was listening to it on the way over here, and I would give something like 10, 15 seconds. And if it didn't get me, dislike, move on. And that's just the way to do it. I'm approaching books and movies and TV shows the same way now. I'm just like, you know what? If it doesn't get me right away, life is too short.
Yeah, so, I mean, I did Pandora for a while, but then they just, because of the way I kept on like liking things and disliking things, they just kept on playing the same things over and over again. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna just do that, then I'll just listen to my own fucking music.
Right? Yeah. I had good luck with Pandora way back. It's been a long time.
I don't know, but the algorithm, how it's developed since.
Yeah. I remember I liked it way back then because it would tell you what it thought were the reasons you liked a particular song. Like if you clicked into the details, it'd say you like this song because it has hard-edged guitars, or because it has polished vocals, or this or that. And it was fairly granular, and I liked that because I'm a dork. I remember what the thing was.
What the thing
somewhere
was.
is just then when you're talking about the election and pervasive, and it was back when you were talking about Futurama.
Yes.
And you mentioned Futurama and him falling back into the cryo tube.
Yeah.
Isn't that the way? And I still haven't seen this movie, so I don't know. But isn't that what happens in Idiocracy? Something similar?
No. In Idiocracy, he like volunteers for. Well, no, he doesn't. He has volunteered because he's just like a records guy for the army, and he's just basically waiting out his time for retirement, just sitting in a room waiting.
Okay.
But then, like, they found that he is the most average person ever.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's why he was volunteered by the army for this experiment, and then they found like a hooker to go in there as well.
Well, the reason I bring it up is I heard earlier this week that is coming back to theaters.
Idiocracy
is coming back to theaters for its anniversary in honor of the upcoming election.
Nice. I will go. Like, I need to.
I have never seen it, so that might be like a reason for me to go to the theater just to check that out.
I would go to see it again. So if you are interested, let's do it.
That might be.
And then we can do your like honest review.
Review right
afterwards, and I'll try not to inject my personal like. Well, actually, I will inject it a little bit. But the first time I saw the movie, I was sort of half watching it, like on DVD, like in my dad's basement, like on a TV that was probably a quarter of the size of that one. And just with the volume down low. So maybe I just did not get quite the experience that I was supposed to get. I mean, the like. And so I didn't like it. I did not like the movie at all. Right. But then, like, after a second and third viewing, I realized, and this is where like things can get dangerous when you like what you were talking about earlier, where you're like, I don't like this, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
But because like at first I didn't like that. I was just like, this is not my cup of tea. But then, I'm glad I gave it another shot because like now that I have, I'm like, wow, like with Beavis and Butthead, like everybody's like, oh, it's just this dumb show about these two dumb kids. I'm like, but no, it's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like things that are like under the levels of the initial, like just them being dumb assholes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the important like follow up to what I was saying earlier is that like, yes, cast it aside for the moment, but I think it's also equally important to keep an open mind about if people keep telling you to watch that thing. Like I was kind of being an asshole about The Princess Bride, but like when
you dumb asshole.
I was my dad asked me the other day, he's like, did you guys ever talk about he said I'm not one to listen to podcasts, but did you guys ever talk about Gene Wilder when that happened? And I did think of our episode title right off the
Did you tell him what the episode title was?
I told him we talked about See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I don't know if I remember.
We did talk about other ones of his films, but that was the one that I kept on playing at the end of the show.
What was I saying? So I think it's very important. Like, so I with The Princess Bride, House of Cards, Princess Bride, Robin Wright.
Okay.
Direct connection. Love her in both.
Holy shit.
Also in Forrest Gump. Love her.
Was she Jenna?
She was Jenna. But with The Princess Bride, part of the time it was a goof, but part of the time what I knew about the movie did not appeal to me at all. And yet I kept hearing from people, you need to watch this movie, you need to watch this movie, you need to watch this movie. So eventually, if people tell you that about something that you at first cast off, I think you need to go back to it.
Well, the trick is with with me is I mean, like with movies like that, they are really good, and it's hard not to. But the thing is, I try not to pressure people because knowing myself, that if someone's trying to pressure me to watch something that I might very well like. Yeah. If someone like tries to get me like with fervor to watch something, it usually the contrarian in me says no, I don't want to watch that. Right. But I mean, I've gotten better as I've gotten older, which is weird. Usually, you get worse when you get older.
Well, I don't. I mean, I think Get Ready to Drink. Patton Oswalt talks about it. Steve's already drinking, so Patton Oswalt talks about it in not this most recent special, which I still haven't watched because the idea of it makes me sad. But the special before that talked about how, as he's gotten older, he's started to realize he doesn't care about the music that's out there. Right? He doesn't get angry about it in the way that he did in maybe his 20s or his 30s, where he got just viscerally angry about fucking Nickelback. Which, as it turned, one of the things Apple Music suggested for me on the way over here was Nickelback doing a cover of Dirty Laundry by Don Henley. No, I did not add it to my library, but I did hit love because that was fucking fantastic. It was so goddamn terrible. that for one 3-minute song, I felt like a hipster because I was listening to it ironically. I was like, this is fucking awful, and I'm just loving every second of it. Just a terrible Don Henley song by one of the most terrible bands in the world. But in Patton's bit, he talks about it. It's like, is Nickelback doing anything all that evil? Like, no, they're just a bunch of guys who happen to like that kind of music, and they go out and they make that kind of music. 20-year-old him would have just been like, fuck those guys, they're trying to get fucking money and pussy with their rock music. And
then, you look at that and it's like, so
there are plenty of, and as he goes on in the bit to say, he's like, there are plenty of people who have done plenty of worse things for money and pussy. And so why be mad at Nickelback about it? Especially if they're going to cover things like Dirty Laundry.
Yeah, like whatever. I mean, I still don't like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But like, I don't hate them like I did when I was a boy. Yeah. I don't have like the like, it's. I mean, I never really liked their sound. Yeah. It's weird because I like Faith No More, and they have a somewhat similar sound. They got in some circumstances. Right, I'm not going to say like entire catalogs matching up, but like, there are similarities. But for some reason, Mike Patton's voice, I'm good with. Yeah. But Anthony Kiedis can go suck an egg
under the bridge downtown.
Right.
After he draws some blood.
Why? Is that a song about AIDS?
No, I don't know. But it was a song about San Francisco. No, actually, I think it was a song about L.A., but they turned it to one way or the other. I remember reading about Under the Bridge. And
the city that never sleeps. The city by the bay.
The city that rocks. The city that's nonstop.
My dick's all shitty.
My favorite song
You need
of all
to find that, like... Put that in the show notes. The dick's all shitty one.
My dick's all shitty. I think I must have once. The first time you referenced that.
Oh my god! Like the first time I heard that on O&A, like the guy did such a poor job, but he had so much fucking passion behind it. That's
like the guy from Nickelback. I mean, you can't be mad at him.
Yeah, but it was just like he was like a terrible karaoke version of the song, and he was just top of his lungs screaming every line, but he fucking sold it. Yeah. He sold My Dick's All Shitty.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left.
So we can do a lightning round.
We lightning round of, well, I talked about how I read the story.
Which one? The history of the liar Norland,
Hey, hold on a second.
or the Encyclopedia of Devil Fruits.
That's one. Here's the second one. No, I read a story called Animals, which was not at all appropriate for my kids to hear. But my wife wanted to do some stuff as a family yesterday, so we went up to the reading, and we went to get some pumpkins, and then we went to the fanciest McDonald's on the planet.
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins. We mentioned Idiocracy. The Red Sox and clowns. That's what we have left. Well, and there was something else.
Well, it's a clown follow-up item.
Clown follow-up item and the subway.
So I'll try to. Well, maybe we can talk about the subway next time.
Okay, we'll save the subway for next time.
Save the subway because I don't want to give that short shrift.
Right.
Because there's a lot of things about the subway.
Yes. Including their $3.50 a day meal.
What?
They got a $3.50 sandwich.
Oh wow, that's great.
Clowns or Red Sox?
Red Sox. I'm gonna just want to touch on
Okay.
for those of you who are following the American League East Division. The Red Sox have won their last 10 games in a row.
Yes.
Which means their magic number for being for clinching the division is 3 wins.
Which they aided that cause by socking it. To Tampa.
That was hilarious. Right before the show, I asked Siri if the Red Sox won last night.
Yeah.
And she said the Red Sox socked it to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, Siri.
Yes. So thank you for that. That's fun. But yeah, so regardless, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They cannot not be in the playoffs. They are at least going to be.
Which is crazy. I thought when we started the season they were supposed to be terrible, but apparently not.
No, I mean, this season's been pretty good. Yeah. I mean, there's been some ups and downs, and I've only watched. I mean, I don't watch as much as I did back in college and post college. Right. Those were the actually pre-post or pre-during post college was the amount was when I watched the most baseball.
Yeah.
I remember watching a lot. But I don't think we get Nessun here, so I don't watch it at home. So the only time I watch is if I'm out, out for dinner at around between 7 and 9, or 7 and 10, whenever a baseball game is usually on. But I've been paying attention the end of the season because we've been doing well, and it'd be cool to see another playoff run for the Sox. Our generation has been sorely spoiled.
Yes, they have.
With the amount of World Series victories, Super Bowl victories. We haven't necessarily been spoiled with Stanley Cup victories.
Yeah, but we got one.
We got one, which is good. Hopefully the bees can get back, and we got. Well, in our lifetime, 2 NBA championships.
Yeah. Just 2?
Or it might have been 3.
I can't remember.
I don't know. There was that time in the 80s.
There was that time in the 80s, and then there was that time in the aughts. Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody who's better at sports can correct us with an email.
And Big Poppy's
last season.
Last season, it would be nice to see him go out on a high one.
My dad. I got him for his birthday Christmas present, the whole hullabaloo. I got him a bunch of Spinners tickets, but the Spinners package that I got included a Red Sox game, which is a ticket to the October 1st game against the Blue Jays.
Very nice.
So it might come down to that game, the Red Sox clinching the playoffs, and that would be an amazing game to go. My dad doesn't listen to the podcast, but if you do, Pop, remember who got you the tickets, and I like watching Red Sox baseball.
Red Sox baseball.
I mean, they're bleacher seats, but whatever.
Nessun.
October baseball, getting all bundled up next Saturday would be really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I need to call him. I'm bad at that.
I'm bad at it too, but my dad lives downstairs.
Yeah. So you don't have to call him. No. All you have to do is just be in the next room with him.
Yeah. Or be upstairs.
Be upstairs and have him be like, fuck, shit, cock, fucking golf, fuck, Keno. That's it.
if I put swears in the title. That,
Is that a good your dad impression?
that was pretty good. Although he doesn't f-bomb as much as I probably do. I tend to be the one with the temper in the house right now. Clowns in Kentucky. Should we even get into this?
Well, it's just sort of a follow-up from a couple of weeks ago
Yeah,
when we were talking about Schlitz and clowns or whatever.
Well, so the person that directed me to this was my friend John Martin. Important to on Twitter. I saw him mention this, and I had to look into it because although the headline says a lurking clown arrested in Kentucky woods near apartments, it did remind me of our story, which was set that we were referred to, which was set in South Carolina.
Well, like they're both in the South.
They're both in the South.
That's where I think creepy clowns breed.
Yeah. Well, here's now remember, my friend Jonathan Martin was the one to tell me this on Twitter. Kentucky police have arrested a man dressed as a clown lurking in a wooded area amid a wave of clown reports in at least 6 U.S. states. Jonathan Martin. So John brought this up apropos of like he's a little afraid people doing Google searches on him are gonna find out that he's a clown.
Or people doing Google searches for me might just find a guy that teaches
Dr. Steve.
No, there's.
No.
I don't know if there's a doctor, but I think there's a guy that teaches economics at some college or something.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a Christoph Clark who's a porn star.
Ooh. Well, I think because of this show, I think I've sort of
eclipsed.
I've upgraded like my status when people search for a Stephen or Steve Woodbury. I think I am the one that comes up more often.
Yeah.
So cool.
Jonathan Martin, 20, was charged with wearing a mask in a public place and disorderly conduct in Middlesbrough. He was found at about 1:00 Eastern Standard Time.
Is it like what you can't wear a mask?
Apparently not in Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. It's not like Water 7 where you can.
Middlesbrough.
Like there's
sorry.
a lot of like masks for sale, and they have a lot of people wearing them.
Yeah.
Door fruit.
He was found at about 1:00 Eastern Standard Time on Friday in, quote, full clown costume, unquote, and crouching among trees by an apartment complex, according to police. Recent reports of clowns trying to lure children into woods have sparked alarm. Police have warned individuals against dressing up in clown costume, adding it could lead to criminal charges. Quote, dressing as a clown and driving, walking, or standing in public can create a dangerous situation for you and others, police in nearby Barberville, Kentucky, said in a statement online. Quote, while dressing up is not in and of itself against the law, doing so in public and thereby creating an unnecessary sense of alarm is illegal.
Yeah, and also remember what we talked about before, having your cleavage or like ass crack out in public, that is a distraction for people and puppies as well. They're adorable, and they make people want to look at them.
I thought you were saying that
road.
ass cracks were distracting for
especially
puppies.
If there's a puppy coming out of an ass crack or cleavage, like a little puppy, like a little corgi, like really like Magumbo's like tits, like big old flapjack titties, and a little puppy in the middle of them, and like doing a little like hands underneath the tits, kind of moving around the puppy's kind of like got his little paws on the top of it. Yeah, that is just as distracting as a clown.
Oh, God.
If not more. I'd say more. I'd say slightly more. You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot.
Well, we got like two. We got a minute and a half. We got two. Well, no, wait, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, a minute and a half. I could have read at least the next paragraph if I'd got my shit together.
No, we're good.
We're done. Okay.
We're good.
We're good.
You can do the plugs, right?
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/113.
Wow.
Or if you'd like to comment on anything you've heard in this episode, you can send those comments by email to hot@clarkwoods.com or by Twitter, where you can find me at ECC1977.
You can find me at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday, IS Loser, all one word.
All one.
Word.
To your mother.
So, yeah.
Mary.
Tune in next time for some more exciting talk about things and me taking public transportation. See you there. Dun, 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 dun.